Welcome to another edition of the Water Tower Podcast. This is one of our favorite episodes we do. We started last year. It's our 2026 Tri-County preseason mega preview show. And we thought, hey, there's no better place to do it than right here at the Tri-County Country Club at the Vineyards here in Teague, Texas. Special thanks to Jackie Dillon for allowing us to be here tonight and taping this show here. And we, of course, to do this, we needed Texas 99's own Scott Batts. Man, I think it's pretty cool that you want to do this and you're back doing this with us.
Well, thanks for the invite. I appreciate it.
The football guru.
The man, the myth, the legend.
Something like that, yeah.
I think he's a guy that makes Texas 99 run on Friday night, so he does a lot for them.
You are very kind. Thank you.
Him and Buzz. Before we get into it, because we got a lot to get to, again, if you enjoy local football, especially here in our Tri-County area, make sure you like this video, hit subscribe. That goes a long way in helping us. Follow us on Facebook, TikTok. We just launched our own website, so it has a bunch of stuff on there. It has some preview stuff for the 2026 season. It's got a historical section. I will admit I do need to add some Wortham stuff on there. So I'll get with Scott on that. So speaking of Wortham, we'll start right here in Wortham, Texas. The Wortham Bulldogs, they enter 2026 with a bit of change. Coach Bryce Perkins takes over for Chad Coker, who left the Bulldog program. Where did he go, Scott? Home now. But Coach Perkins does take over a program with a lot of experience coming back. They have 19 lettermen coming back. I think they only lost one from last year's squad. Returned 10 starters on both offense and defense. It was a rough year for them. They went 2-8, finished 2-5 in district. Did not make the playoffs, but again, a lot of returning production for the Bulldogs. I'll let Wortham's own Scott start us off with this one.
Well, this Bulldog team coming into this year, and I think our focus on the podcast this year has been questions that you got to answer. And in addition to some other Freestone County schools that we'll talk about here in a little bit, I think the Bulldogs have a lot of questions to answer. I mean, they finished 2-8. They returned a bunch of kids. They got a lot of time on the field. But I still think with the change in the coaching staff, the change and a lot of coaches, they were not just Coach Coker left. They had 3 retained coaches, which one of them was on the girls' side. So they're going to have to introduce themselves into a lot of questions. And one of my biggest questions for 2026 falls with this, and we'll get to that a little bit later. But this Bulldog team, I think, needed to schedule teams that they could compete with. I think they did a pretty good job of that. Last year when they were put into a situation, they lost to Valley Mills and Rio early, then kind of gained their legs underneath them against Leon, and you saw a little bit of a change, and then boom, you get Mark Bremont Chilton. That'll make you look bad in a hurry.
Death row right there.
And so that situation, I think, put them in a situation, and it made it where that team had some negative things happen, but positive with the kids on the floor, kids on the field. And there's a lot of returning lettermen that really have a chance to show out this year, and I think having a possibility to do so.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you look, like I said, last year was rough for the Bulldogs, to say the least. Shut out 6 times out of their 10 games. But I think when you lose, I think 2024, they had such a talented senior class for Wortham. A big senior class. When you lose something like that, it's really, really hard to replace. And not only that, you replace them with mostly sophomores.
Absolutely, yes.
So it was a sophomore-heavy team. So I guess Wes, your thoughts on Wortham entering 2026?
I think they're about like Mexia, who we'll get to in a few. Had the same thing last year, and then coming into this year, new coaching staff, returning kids, but still kind of young. So there's still question marks there. I think the main thing is the kids buying into the new coach's system and philosophies and stuff like that. That could be a game changer in itself right there. Scott, like Scott said, you start out the season not on the best foot, then you find a little confidence, then bang, you run into those powerhouses. After a while of getting beat up, how much do you have in the tank to go out there and play every Friday night and all that? I think guys just kind of get ready for the season to be over and all that. I'm excited for them. Like you said, you bring back that many lettermen. New coach just seems to bring a lot of energy. I think you'll see some positive things for the Bulldogs this year. Record-wise, I don't know. Like Scott said, you want to schedule a more favorable schedule early on. You want to build some confidence, get some wins, and or just compete and beat in ball games and feel like, hey, if we do this or this, we could have won the game. Like you said, shut out 6 of the 10 games last year. That's pretty brutal. So I think they've kind of got over the learning curve. There'll still be some stuff they have to figure out early on this upcoming season. But as long as they buy in and with the new coaching staff and all that, I think they'll expect the Bulldogs to have a decent, pretty good season this year.
Yeah, as a first year head coach, if you got 10 coming back on offense, 10 coming back on defense, that's got to be something you're really looking forward to help you out and get your culture established that you want. Like Wes talks about the buy-in. You got 10 kids that they've got that varsity experience. Mm-hmm. Yes, they struggled last year, but like you said, I think with the schedule they have this year, you're going to see more games that they're competitive in. I don't think they're going to be a team that gets shut out 6 times in the season. And even if the wins aren't coming right off the bat in year one, like Wes talked about, just if you're competitive and you're showing, signs of improvement, signs of progress, and even though you do have 10 coming back, like y'all said, they're not exactly just senior heavy still. So they're going to be a team that, it might not happen in year one, but maybe year 2 is where it really picks up for the Wortham Bulldogs. And with the district that they're set up in, when it's all said and done, they might have a playoff spot secured when you get to the end of the season.
Yeah, which that's something I would look at when we talk about like most intriguing game. I think me and Scott have kind of talked about a little bit that Wortham and Santo game.
Absolutely.
That at the end of the season, week 11, that could be the game to get in. Like,
yeah,
all right, the winner of that, you're in. The loser, well, you're at home. So that's
and also coupled with a Frost squad that has sent 2 or 3 to Navarro. They've sent 2 or 3 on to different things. That's a bunch that made the playoffs last year. They're losing a ton off of that squad. And then you put the 2 wins that the Bulldogs did get, Meridian and Hubbard. They were able to handle those games pretty easily.
Right.
Then you beat that down Frost team. You're playing Santo in the final game of the season for 3rd.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you're giving away
Frost is breaking in a new head coach as well, right?
They are, yeah. So I mean,
that's a winnable ball game.
Yeah, you're looking at that. I think, I was going to kind of skip down when we're talking strengths. I think the biggest strength was what UIL did for them.
Yeah.
Taking Bremont and Chilton and moving them to different regions and saying we don't have to deal with y'all anymore.
Yeah,
I think that helps out a lot.
it definitely does. Lose those 2. You do add Crawford, but instead of playing 3 really tough games in district, now you have Mark Crawford. Still a mountain to climb with both of them, but that's one less game that you have to play.
And this is kind of a show of unknowns, and we'll talk about unknowns in a minute when we get to the other 2 districts that we're going to talk about. But nobody knows anything about Santa. I mean,
UIL just had like, hey, what do we do with these guys?
They had one dart left, and they go, what are we going to hit it with? Let's hit it with Santa. I just don't know. I mean, they went out toward Meridian, so you figure that Santo is going to get pulled in anyway. But I do, Landry, I think, Coach Harrison, I think that's looking at their district just real quick is, they lead off at Chambliss Field in March, then they play Hubbard. Those are Hubbard and Meridian. The next 2, you could be 2-1 after 3.
Bye week.
Going into your bye. Then you get the Crawford Pirates coming the next one, and then you go 2 Frost and 2 Santo. You go 2-1 twice, you're a playoff team. And I think that's what the Bulldogs need to look to. Coach Perkins coming over from Mildred. He was on Coach Callahan's staff at Mildred, is formerly at Teague as well. He was at Teague High School. I've enjoyed visiting with him a couple of times that I visited with him. He's excited. And I think it's his chance to finally get to lead a program he gets to do everything, boys and girls and volleyball and golf and powerlifting and all of that stuff. He gets the chance. And now as he turned and looked to maybe Coach Osborne or Coach Linscomb or Coach Callahan, they turn around and now they're looking at him. And I think those are some of the biggest strengths that this Bulldog team is going to face.
Look at the biggest question for me. It's got to be, all right, who's at quarterback for the Bulldogs this year? Is it going to be the Cawthorn or the kid, or is it going to be Cross Montgomery? I think each one's a little bit different in what they can do. I'm sure that battle will go well into fall practice,
you're right.
right up to week 1. Because there's some good and bad regardless of who you go with. So to me, that's the biggest question with this Bulldog team. My strength for them is just the experience they had coming back. I think that's a huge strength to have, especially for a first-year head coach.
I think, and y'all can agree to disagree. And first of all, get out of my head, because my biggest question is based off of your biggest question. Okay, we don't really know who's going to quarterback this team. They both dealt with injuries last year. They're both gritty kids, just gritty kids. And but my question is, how do you find a way to get Caden Busby the ball?
Yeah.
If you saw him, he had a breakout year in basketball. He and Tyler Langley were the two guards that just really did well for a Bulldog team that didn't make the playoffs. Now, his athletic ability shines out pretty well. He's the fastest kid on the field.
Yeah.
You've got to figure out a way to get him the ball, whether it be on end around, whether it be on jet sweep, whether it be throw the ball, the slant, the post, whatever you're going to get it. Find a way to get him, and find the right person that's going to get him the ball. Whether that's going to be Trenton Cawthorn, whether that's going to be Cross Montgomery. As you mentioned, Coach, they're both have their own set of skills, and you almost wish that you could combine those skills and have one good guy. But they're both serviceable quarterbacks. They're not going to go out and lose a ball game. I just want to find somebody that's going to step up and take that leadership role to go out and win a ball game, and I think they can do that. My other one I wanted to mention real quick was you talk about Maddox, Duke, and Blake Haddon. Both of those were the defensive tackles, TNTs, and Carlos Godinez at linebacker. That Bulldog defense was absolutely shredded last year. They've got to figure out a way to get some pressure, and as long as they're going to be able to do that. Those are three pretty tough kids that can get it done. And I think the Bulldogs I do see an upswing in this Bulldog team this year.
I do too, which brings us, each of us, our floor and ceiling for this team. I can start us off, just looking at their schedule. Like you said, it's a very much manageable schedule than what they had last year, especially in district play. The biggest thing is, again, how far is that defense going to come? Who's at quarterback? I think their floor could be anywhere from 2-8 to 3-7. I think their ceiling could be anywhere from 4-6 to 5-5. If everything comes together, I think 4-6, 5-5, making the playoffs, that's definitely doable for the Bulldogs.
As far as records concerned, I think if you tell this team that you're going to go 5-5, you take that and run. Because this is a team, I just don't know sometimes how mentally these guys, I know that the coaching staff is going to have them ready to go, but you always have Mart on that schedule.
Yeah.
They haven't beaten Mart since 1929. Now, they haven't played for a long time, but they played more. But, you look at that stat in October of 1929 is the last time they beat Mart, and it was 7-0.
Yeah.
And when you look at some of those numbers, when history starts packing in, it starts to make them wonder. Well, you can't go in and beat them. This team 2 or 3 years ago played with them when they had that batch of seniors and juniors, and played with them and played to 37-21 with them. Before the bench clearing brawl 2 years ago, or going in to take a 12-6 lead. I see those things coming. That's the ceiling for me for this Wortham program, is to not be intimidated. I think if they have a possibility to go 6-4, I see losses to probably Valley Mills, Mart, and Crawford for sure. My tweener games is how much did Dawson lose? How much did Blooming Grove lose? And we know that Rice has struggled over the years.
Yeah.
So you give them those potential wins, and then of course nobody knows anything about Santo. So as far as I'm concerned, I think that's absolutely right. If somebody told me 6-4 and you're a playoff team,
Yeah.
I'm the Bulldogs. I'm saying, okay, let's don't play it down. We'll take that right now.
Right.
But you got to play them, and so we'll see how they come out. I do think this Bulldog team is going to be on an upswing.
Yeah. As far as floor goes, I put it somewhere around 2-8. Looking at the schedule, the ceiling, I'd give them 5-5 is what I got at right now. But like Scott said, that could be 4 district wins.
Absolutely.
Right there. That's the second half of your season. That's enough to get you in the playoffs, have you feeling good, and even if you make playoffs, get beat round 1 or whatever. If that's how you finish your season, I think you feel really good headed into year 2 under Perkins. And just as far as questions, it's just going to depend on what the Bulldog offense will be able to do this year. Will they be able to keep them in these games and kind of be that force that really gives them that upper hand to win these kind of tweener games that Scott's talking about? And if they can find someone on offense that's going to be able to produce 2 or 3 guys, then I think that ceiling of 5-5 is very, very possible for the Bulldogs.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think 5-5 is about where I'm at with it, especially given the district. Valley Mills and Dawson and Blooming Grove are games that I feel might could go either way depending on the buy-in and all that. And the thing too is, even if you struggle early in non-district, as long as you're figuring things out and getting better each week, who cares if you lose those games? Floor, I got 3-7. I think district, they can get 3 wins at least in district. Rice should be a win. Yeah, I think anywhere 3-7, 5-5, and make playoffs into the first year. And like Scott said, you give me 5-5 in the playoffs coming off of a 2-8 campaign where we got shut out 6 times and didn't make playoffs. I think everybody in Wortham, Texas will take that one. So yeah, somewhere 3-7, 5-5 is about where I'm at with it.
So once again, Coach Perkins takes over the Wortham Bulldogs in 2026. We all expect Wortham to be a lot better than what they were last year, just with what they have coming back. They will be on the road. That's going to be a continuing theme as we go through all these local teams. They'll be on the road week 1 at Valley Mills on August 28th. We now go down I-45 to Buffalo. We didn't preview Buffalo last year. We're slowly kind of adding in teams in our area.
Yeah.
So we'll preview Buffalo.
So give us time. If we ain't got to, hey, give us time. We're baby steps.
Yep.
So
big reason why Buffalo is joining Teague's district. So that's another reason why I wanted to preview the Bison this year. They returned 20 lettermen. They lost 6. They bring back 7 starters on offense, 8 starters on defense. They went 3-7 last year, finished 2-4 in a very tough district. They did not reach the postseason. Just first thoughts looking at it, I think with what they have coming back, they're very similar to Wortham. With what they have coming back, they do have a lot of experience. I think they take a step forward under head coach Trent Jones. They do have a more manageable schedule. You don't have to play a loaded Fairfield team week 4 anymore. You take some of them tough East Texas teams like Troop. I think ARP was in there. New London, West Rupp. You don't have to play any of them.
Correct.
In district play. So it's a very much manageable schedule for the Bison. Looking at key losses of who they lost, Hayden Shaw, that's a big one. To me, he was their go-to guy last year. I can't remember the quarterback's name, maybe Cole Davis.
He was a senior, wasn't he?
Davis.
Cole Davis. So they'll be bringing in another quarterback. I don't know what they turn into there. But those 2 guys come to mind when I think of key losses for those Bison. But you do bring back Dante Light at receiver.
Huge addition.
He can play. That kid's a gamer.
I think they bring back pretty much their entire offensive line, defensive lines. So they bring back a lot to work with. I think the key for them is who's playing quarterback.
And and this is a question that I had for you, and when we talk here in a couple of weeks anyway, but might as well add it now, is when you look at the returning letterman lost and returning, it can't go any higher than 11. So as a coach, and you see those, what do you like to say, okay, that's somebody that needs to be reckoned with? I mean, is it half? Is it 5? Is it 4? Less than 4? Or do you like to, or is it more dangerous to see 9, 10, 11 off of a team that finished 3 and 7?
I mean, I think no matter what their record was, if you're sitting at, 9, 10, 11 guys returning on that side of the ball, I mean, I think that's a team that you can't just say, they don't have anything, because it is a huge part of, if you bring back that many guys, then you're naturally going to be better than what you were.
It's a lot of practice time that those guys have got.
And I think too is, when you just look at the letterman, it's 20 letterman return. That's 20 kids. I don't know how they do it in other towns as far as, if you're just on varsity, you get a letterman, or do you really have to go out there and contribute, and stats and playing time matter? 20 guys on a 3A D2 team, that's a lot of guys that got playing time. And it's a team that, when we scrimmaged them, you've seen glimpses of, hey, they could be okay. Like they showed signs. The Lott kid, I don't think played against us, but I remember him. There was a few times this year where, I seen on Facebook and other places where he had big games. So, that's a threat right there. I think their biggest thing is going to be figuring out the quarterback thing too. But it seems like kind of what Buffalo was last year is what we're expecting Wortham to be this year. Last year they had went through stuff in the past where they struggled a little bit. Now this year, all the lumps they took last year, and as they got better and better, now they bring that back this year with what they have returning.
A lot of these guys this is seniors wise.
Yeah.
They're 3-year starters on varsity.
Yeah, a lot of them played like the 2 years we scrimmaged them. They were young the first year, and then last year, they had like a few seniors that led, but then they were a lot of young guys. So I mean, yeah, I think Buffalo's might be on the rise, and then, like I said, you get out of the district they were in and you move over to this one. That's a positive thing for the Bison.
Yeah, like you said, they lost a few key pieces from last year's team, but you look at the players coming back, and they've got some dudes that can go. They've got guys that are experienced coming back in some pretty important positions, in my opinion. And Buffalo, to me, they're coming into year 2 under Jones. I don't really think they're a team that, if you look just at the record from last year, it doesn't really reflect who they are. Like, I don't think they're your typical 3-17 coming into this season, especially with the schedule they have this year. I really think this is going to be a team that's going to compete for one of those top 3 spots in the district.
Yeah.
Now, where exactly it is, I don't know. It's too early to tell. But with what they have coming back, year 2 under their guy, I expect this to be a much better Buffalo team this season.
Yeah, I don't know what Iola has, but that week 2 game against Leon, they'll find out how good they are, see where they're at with that one, because Leon's going to be pretty good. And so, you go into that game and you compete, and you get a dub, either one, then you're like, okay, moving forward, all right, this is where we're at. Like you said, in a district that's not all that great, them dudes could have a pretty good year this year.
Well, and I think looking, and I almost changed your notes coming into this, because, to me, it's most intriguing games for Buffalo. and the reason is and I know if I go into Mexia Fieldhouse, if I go into Teague Fieldhouse or whatever, I'm going to see notes on the board. Okay. And it's going to say this: what do you have to do to get in? Okay. In a 5-team district, you got to win 1 to get in. In a 6-team district, you got to win 2. If you look at there are 2 very winnable games for Buffalo to put them into the postseason. Yeah. And that is Elkhart and that is Rice. You win those 2, you're in. You're a postseason team.
No offense to those teams, but that's who you schedule for homecoming.
Well, and that's
what I mean.
And those are teams that have struggled. Yeah. Buffalo handled Elkhart last year. Rice struggled mightily last year. Yeah. You win those 2 guys, you're a playoff team. Yep. So then, who does that leave? That leaves a Blooming Grove team that's been 500-ish the last 2 or
Right.
3 years, then you're playing for third. And so you get to that Blooming Grove game on the 6th of November.
Right.
And say you give up Mildred and Teague in the middle part of October, you're playing for third place in district play. And I think those two games are what they hinge their season on.
Right.
And then have that gravy game, I guess you could say, Blooming Grove.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I think it's. I mean, you want to win them all, but when you start breaking it down, games we have to win. Like these are
Absolutely.
These need to be guaranteed wins. Rice and Elkhart are two you check off immediately.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking at their ceiling and their floor right now, looking at the schedule again. I mean, they perfect world. I think you're sitting at probably 4-1 going into the bye before district starts. After that, I mean, I truly believe their only losses in district will be Teague and Mildred.
Yeah.
So they can be a 7-3 team.
Yeah.
Coach Jones's second year. So I mean, that'd be a big leap from where they were just 3 years ago. They went 0-10 in 2024. So he's definitely got them in the right direction now.
You know, honestly, I could see them. I think you're right. I think you're circling the Leon game as the non-district loss, and I think that's right. I think Anderson Shiro could be better. Warren is one of those that you don't really know a whole lot about. Played pretty well in the early going last year. They schedule teams that they feel that they can handle early, and then struggle in district play. Thrall has been kind of up and down the last couple of years, but I think minimum 3-2, and then 3-2 in district play. You're 6-4.
Yeah.
And you know, as far as and when we're asking about the ceiling, to me, the ceiling for Coach Jones is there's one word you need to put on that dry erase board.
Yeah.
Actually, 2 words. You know, 3 if you want to be real technical. But don't finish 4th.
Yeah.
Don't finish 4th, because who do you get? Newton. How motivating is that? And that kind of goes for Teague too. I don't think Teague's going to factor in that when we get to them. But if you're Buffalo, you do not want to not say. And if you get that 3rd spot, you've got a chance to move to the 2nd round.
Yeah. I watched the Newton's got a running back. He was at the regional track meet. It's the one from last year.
Yeah.
He's the one they couldn't catch.
That dude is a unit. So yeah, you don't want to. I'm with you. 7-3, 4-6 is the floor for me this year for them. But it's a very favorable schedule. Like I said, I think the Leon game, they'll find out a lot about themselves. I don't know who they scrimmage, which, that's neither here nor there. But I think the Leon game is where they build off of. And then you have 2-3 more non-district games, then you're bye. So you have plenty of time to load up and get ready for district. And then you get Rice the first game of district. And then you come in with the district favorite Teague. And so then again you find out, okay, how good have we gotten where we're at?
And you find out the top and bottom pretty fast.
Yeah.
Because then they go to Mildred the next week. So
Right.
you find out where you need to be real quick.
So the schedule plays out for Buffalo. Like, out of everybody that we're going to preview today, Buffalo might have the best setup schedule out of everyone.
And I wanted to ask the 3 of you guys one question too, and I think this hinges with Buffalo, and it may hinge on a lot of other schools that we're going to talk about too. Is first of all, they got a kid that moved on to the next level. The Shaw kid moved on to the next level. How does Coach Jones spread that offense around a missing piece that was huge like that?
Yeah,
he was a big piece of their offense. How do you spread it around?
I got one name for you, Dante Locke.
Yes, that might be the combination.
Because if I believe it wasn't last year, but the year before, didn't he give Fairfield?
He did.
Didn't he give Fairfield all they wanted? Was it this past year?
This past year, he had 2 touchdowns.
Yeah. So, I don't believe he scrimmaged either time we played him the last 2 years. I want to say he might have been. Did he scrimmage last year? But you go and give that Fairfield team that defense was legit, and you give them a game. That's a kid that I'd be trying to find a way. You talk about the Busby kid from Wortham. I'd be trying to find a way to give the ball a lot
in open air.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I know the Elijah Harper kid. I know he's the number 2 receiver of that team. So just having them 2, whoever's at quarterback,
Yeah.
Having them two out there is going to help a lot.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm right there with y'all. I got their floor at 4-6. And to me, for them to go 4-6, that would have to. There's probably going to be some injuries in there. Is why that would happen, and hopefully that's not the case. And realistically, I see them going 7-3 as their ceiling with their losses to Leon, Teague, and Mildred. But you get into district play, there's no telling how good this Buffalo team could be looking by then. They might split one of those games with Teague and Mildred, prove us all wrong. So I think the schedule sets up nice for them, and I'm not going to be surprised at all to see Buffalo finish in top 3 in that district.
So once again, the Buffalo Bison, they will start 2026 season at Iola on August 28th. That'll take us back up this way to Teague, where the Lions are coming off a 5-5 season, finished 2-3 in district play. They just missed the playoffs
On the last night of the year.
on the last night of the year. They do return 17 lettermen, losing 15. They have 7 starters on offense coming back, 6 starters on defense coming back. I can go down a whole list of key guys that they lost. Like you talk about Jaden Cole, Jaden Brown, Dylan Coaster, Braden Gant, Winkler, quarterback. Those are all guys that, they played a huge role, not only last year, what they did, but the previous years. They were big key contributors all throughout their high school career. But I think Teague does bring back just enough.
I agree.
Where and moving down to 3AD2, I think they do win the district. I think they can go a couple rounds deep. Not sure who they would play in the second round. Didn't look that far into it. But what they do have coming back, they do have enough to be a real force in 3AD2.
Well, and I don't want to upset Teague folks, okay? Because we're here close by now. We don't want to mess anything up. But I think UIL did them a huge favor. We knew population was going to drop them down to 2A. You knew they were going to be paired with Buffalo. That was just going to happen. They almost share an interstate. So you look down the line, but putting them in that district and the questions that you just mentioned. I think the questions that you just mentioned, isn't it a lot easier to answer those questions when you don't have to look Fairfield and Westwood in the eye right away? I would a whole lot rather look Elkhart, Bleeman Grove, and Rice than I would want to see Crockett, Fairfield, and Westwood.
And Diboll.
And I still think, and Teague still came to the last game of the season, having lost those games to Fairfield and Westwood, and then had to.
They beat Westwood.
They beat Westwood. Okay, but coming down to that last one against, I think it was Crockett. That Crockett game was the decider that put the Bulldogs in. But looking at the way this shapes up, and Coach Linscomb is always going to bring his lunch pail to work, practice, and get those guys. They have taken on that identity over the past few years to where even on the basketball floor, on the track, that they're going to come with a work ethic that's going to make them where you've got to have to beat them. They're not going to go and lose. And I think they did that.
Yeah, they bring their whole line back.
Yeah.
So that right there,
That's huge.
That's a plus. Then the UIL blessing them with the drop down, on top of having one of the best coaches in Central Texas as far as what he brings every Monday through Sunday in that field house. They got some athletes coming back. They're gonna have to figure out a couple things in different spots. I have no doubt in my mind they'll do that. But just the district they're in, the only team I think they even got to worry about is Mildred. And Mildred's got a pretty decent quarterback over there and a couple pieces, but when you bring back the trenches, you can kind of figure out the rest. And when you got a couple guys here and there. So I think, and last year, just let's be honest, Teague battled themselves when they did who they were playing because of the injury bug. The injuries. Injuries just one after the other. When they came over, Mexia and us played, it was, we took some injuries. That was a physical knockdown, drag-out football game. So I think this year, stay healthy and all that. You can see Teague really pop. I think they can make a few rounds deep this year.
I agree. I think if you don't have to, if your biggest part of the budget's not renting medical equipment,
Right, yeah.
And I kidded around with Coach Linscomb. I said, "Are you guys contracted with him?" Because everybody was on a scooter.
Yeah.
I mean, and when you have to deal with that,
Right.
with the injury bug and the seriousness of some of the injuries that they had to endure, and then still be in a ball game, still be playing hard.
Right.
When the hot August and September sun beating down on you,
Yeah.
and then you have to get ready for district. I think it was huge.
Yeah, they had what against us? 2 season-ending injuries, and then another one lasted like he was out for a while too. So I mean, that's 3 starters in one game and you ain't got the district yet.
Very true.
So hopefully those fortunes will be better for them this year on the injury side of things, man, and be interesting to see what they can do. I think he set a great non-district schedule.
Oh, absolutely.
Like every week, you're gonna have to show up. We're gonna see how tough we are every week when we play. Everybody in his non-district schedule is, and then luckily for them, they get the bye week before they get into district. So, yeah, it'll be. I think they'll be playing for a district championship against Mildred on the 6th of November.
Yeah, you talk about the schedule. I think it sets up really nice for the Teague Lions. Like you just mentioned, I do like those first 3 games for Teague, taking on Fairfield, and Mexia. Those are teams that they're always going to be competitive. We know how the area teams play each other.
Right.
Those are always good games. Doesn't really matter who did what last year, who's looking to do what this year. It's always a battle. Cameron Young knows the team. They're going to bring back some guys that are pretty good on offense. I think it'll be a good test for the Teague Lions right out of the jump. But we always talk about Teague being a physical team. I think with the O-line coming back, they're going to be just fine. If they can stay healthy this year, which I just feel like there's no way.
Yeah, that'll happen back-to-back years, right?
There's no way.
Knock on wood over here, but yeah.
Like, as long as they can stay healthy for the most part. I know it's football. You can't have everybody, but if they stay healthy, I think Teague is going to have a really good season this year. And like y'all said, maybe 2-3 rounds, who knows? See how it goes type year.
The biggest question for Teague is, do you have the personnel to make it into the skill positions, wide receiver?
Yeah.
They're going to return a core receiving group. They're going to return a serviceable running back. I don't know that he got a whole lot of carries, or as many as he probably could have gotten in Mario Cuevas. But the thing is you've got to figure out how to get Bryce Bates the ball.
Yeah.
If you figure out how to get Bryce Bates the ball, and I know I'm probably like the old proverbial broken record, and for you young folks, ask your parents what a record is. But anyway, when you look at what Bryce Bates and we talk about Busby and we talk about Dante Lott, it's a matter of finding a way. I mean, the Dallas Cowboys are having to do this. Find a way to get the ball to a playmaker.
Right.
Let them make plays. And that's what they're going to do. And I think that's the biggest question that Coach Linscomb has to answer.
Yeah.
Can he get behind that big offensive line and run behind them all day? Yes, he can. And he probably will do that. I don't think none of us have to tell him that.
And I think that'll ease up that. I think out of the teams we've covered and will cover moving forward, Teague ought to have the best advantage of running the football right now as we're talking today.
Well, I was just about to say, I feel like with what they have coming back, what they have up front, they're going to be a very run-heavy offense. They were last year.
I think early.
Even more so now.
Yeah.
It might be Cuevas, it might be Bates, it might be Tripp. All those guys are going to get touches in the backfield like you have. So it's going to be a very, very run-heavy team.
Let me ask you this, though. And as I was thinking, as the preparation time for this podcast, to me, this is a huge question in the whole realm of what we're trying to do. Does Coach Linscomb keep his team grounded where they go through the first 4 winnable district games to get ready for that district championship game? I mean, we can talk about that.
Right.
Coach Linscomb is not going to even mention in 2A that Mildred's even in the district.
Right.
We can.
Right.
But I think he's got to be able to mark that spot off the deal. Go, let yourselves be 4-0 at that point.
Right.
Say you lose to Rogers, say you lose to Cameron. All of those games don't matter, but you got to circle that one when it comes around. But you can't circle it until Halloween night because that's the day after you play Rice. And I think once you do that, then that puts them in a position.
And I'll say this, like, and we just talked about it, Buffalo. Like, I don't think that's just a team you can just like. I don't think they will beat Teague. I'll say that first. But I don't think that's a team you can just sit here and just say, oh yeah, we can just show up and we'll beat them because the two receivers they have. I don't know what Teague's secondary looks like right now. I mean, obviously Bates will be back there, but they have other holes back there as well. So they're gonna have guys to cover what Buffalo has. But again, that's not just a game that you can just say, oh yeah, we'll show up and win, no problem.
I think their non-district schedule is what does it for me, that sets them up for the battle-tested game of the November 6th against Mildred. Because I think every week, I think Cameron and them are going to be a battle. I think Fairfield and them will be a battle rivalry game. We know it's going to be a battle versus us versus them. It always is every year. You get Groesbeck. We'll cover them in a minute. They should be a little better this year. You get at Rogers. Rogers is usually pretty good. Then you get your bye. You come back and you play the two who would be your outside of Mildred, then the two next hardest teams in your district. You got to be feeling good if you take care of them easily. But I think the one thing Linscomb does very well is keeps his guys grounded.
Oh, no doubt. Absolutely.
Just based off of, they went and, they pretty much dominated Westwood last year. Then they moved on instantly. So that's a game where you could have capped your season right there. Like, hey, we beat this guy. Yep. So I mean, I don't worry about will the Elkhart and Rice cakewalk game, if no offense to those guys. Well, then will they be kind of walking into Mildred like, we got this? And I think they'll do a good job and know enough about Mildred and what Mildred is too to be ready for them.
I agree. In my opinion, out of all of our area teams, Teague is the best at, doesn't matter who they're playing, whether their opponent that's way above them or opponent that's way below them. I feel like they do the best job of, they prepare for who they're playing.
Yeah.
They don't play down if it's a down opponent, and they go and take care of it.
They don't make excuses, next man up, because they easily could have shut it down last year with all the injuries they had.
Right. Yeah.
They showed up every Friday night ready to play.
Yeah, that's why I don't really worry about Teague kind of having, those seasons where you look at the district and you think ahead and you overlook people and then you end up 2-3 or whatever. I don't worry about that with Teague at all. I think, like you talked about, I think those first 3 games of the season are for sure going to help prepare them for that Buffalo type game of, hey, we've seen these teams over here. Buffalo's a good team. We can't take them lightly because in that locker room, the ultimate goal of the season has got to be to win the district championship as soon as you saw the realignment come
in February, right? Yeah. As soon as February hit, this is our number one goal right here.
Right.
Well, number one goal is stay healthy for them. That's got to be number one. But as far as for what their season was going to be when he's scheduling, but you see your district championship automatic.
And don't forget, the Mildred Teague has a little added slice. Jeff Callahan was in Teague a decade or better. So there's going to be a little extra oomph in that maroon in Navarre County on November the 6th when those two teams tangle each other. I think that's going to be a blast to watch.
Yeah.
Now, as far as floor seating, I think this Teague team, and I'm going to be real honest with you, the Fairfield, Mexia, Groesbeck, I do think they go 2-1. I can't tell you which one they're going to lose to.
Yeah.
And they could go 3-0. But that, I think that might be, that to me is, and I'm going to use your term, Wes, that's a murderer's row.
Yeah.
And that's a local murderer's row. There's going to be a lot of people in the stands, and they're going to each have each other's number. I think if you go 3-2 in the first round, first of the non-district, and then you possibly could sweep the district, you're looking at an 8-2 record. Yeah. I think that's their ceiling. Floor, I'm saying 6-4. I just think that Teague team is going to come ready every week. I just don't see a huge floor for them. One of my biggest questions that I didn't really touch on earlier was what are they going to do defensively? They are going to have some holes to fill defensively.
Right.
There's a lot of athletes that they're going to be missing in the secondary. They got those linemen, but I don't know that team speed defensively might be a question for this line
Right.
team. Not real sure, but I guarantee you, Coach Linscomb will have them ready to play.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm teetering 8-2, 7-3, because 8-2 would mean they beat Mexia.
Okay.
And I don't know if I want to say that.
Okay.
I do know that's going to be a game that I have, and within now since mid 2010s, come to look forward to. I think it's right up there with the Fairfield Mexia, Groesbeck Mexia. 8-2, 7-3, I'm right there. Anything worse than 6-4, I don't see.
I don't see it either.
Like I don't see. I don't. Unless, like you said, that
Right. And see,
that old injury bug creeps in.
I have my floors set for them at 5-5, and that's when I did these floors. I'm kind of putting it as worst case scenario. Like
Yeah.
they had this and this go wrong.
That makes
Not
sense.
exactly
Yeah.
play wise. It's
Yeah.
just there's always that possibility.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
So when I do that floor, that's why I say 5-5. A lot had to go wrong.
Right.
To go 5-5. My ceiling, I have them at 9-1.
Nice.
And in my opinion, that one loss would come within those first 3 games.
Yeah.
If it's going to come at all. I'm high on Teague this year. I think they're going to have a really good season.
Yeah, I am as well. I mean, like my biggest strength for them was, and we touched on it without ever saying the word, is culture.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
What he's built over these last few years in Teague. Like most teams, when you lose the guys that they did, they'd come back that following year and be a down year. With what he's able to do with what he has, plus how their schedule is, I mean, I have them anywhere a ceiling of 8-2, and you said a few 6-4 is floor. Like
I agree.
like you said, a lot would have to go wrong for them to be any worse than that.
Yeah.
So if I'm a Teague Lion fan, which I'm not, would never want to be one. Sorry, Jackie.
Gonna get us kicked out before you finish.
I would have full trust in what Coach Linscomb does with his team. They do start on the road at Cameron Yo on August 28th. I think you're going to find a lot about what that team's identity is just week one alone.
I agree.
So that's a very interesting game. It's a
Tough place to play.
tough place to play to start off the season. So that'll take us to Fairfield, where they're coming off one of their best seasons in school history. Coach John Becker returns. I think he's going on year 15 in Fairfield. They return 21 lettermen. They lose 21 lettermen. They're kind of in the category of their own where they don't have a lot coming back. They have 4 offensive starters coming back and 3 on defense. Again, they went 11-1 overall last year, 5-0 district champs. They lost in the area round to eventual state champion Yoakum. I still think Fairfield.
Lead the way, sir.
Go ahead. I still think Fairfield is going to be a really good football team. They will not be anywhere close to the level they were in 2025. But again, they do have some key pieces to build around. The Davis kid, Michael Zachary up front will be pretty good. I know they are moving Landon Cockrell to quarterback. He was the quarterback of the JV team last year that went 10-0. So there are pieces that will step in and be key contributors for this Eagle squad.
Well, that's for Fairfield. When I was getting ready for this one, and we were talking just kind of before we started taping, this Fairfield team has questions to answer, and it's their general questions. Where does the offense come from?
Right.
You don't have Finn Smith. You don't have Connor Colbert. You don't have Cole Collins. You don't have those guys. They're moving on to another realm of their life. They're losing two big linemen. They're losing valedictorian Mason Edwards, that was center. They're losing the Thornburg kid. They're losing two huge, and those guys were big defensively as well.
Right.
And I mean, of course, I tend to focus on offense more than I do defense, but I think what you see with them now, as far as Coach Bechtel and his schedule is concerned, I think that he always finds a way to see where the watermark is, regardless of what he's got. And he did that with two local teams, with Teague and Mexia, and I know, of course, and then he scheduled Conley, which I think is one of those that's going to look. It's a 4A that he's looked at, and then he went to a very talented 3AD2 team in Lexington. So Maypearl, I'm not real sure where that one came from. Other than they were in my head.
Hey, we played last year. Do y'all want to play?
They played last year. They played the last 2
years. Yeah.
But still, that's a long trip to have to go on the opening night. But when you see what Fairfield's going to bring, I think Coach Harrison is right on the money. I think they bring enough to make noise.
Yeah.
Whether they bring enough to bring home a gold football as a district champion, I can't tell you that. And I'm gonna give you the reason why. That was a very, very young Crockett team. They were young, and man, were they stinking athletic. You don't know what Westwood's going to bring to the table. They're going to still have some talent at all the positions. They may or may not have, Mr. Bryant. I don't know if he's playing football. I haven't really heard whether or not he's going to be an early entry into Tech or if he's going to play.
He's playing.
I think he'll play. But there's
Tech willing to gamble on that?
I don't know that Tech's willing to gamble on anything at this point.
I like him a gambler.
Yeah, so yeah, but anyway, I think with what happened with Sorsby and Tech, they may be questioning a lot of things. So we'll see. But no, I think that Westwood, Crockett, I think Diebold's going to come in better. So I can't really say whether Fairfield's going to contend for a district championship. I do think that Coach Bechtel's going to have the right pieces in the right place to make noise, to not look past them each week.
Yeah, I'm with you. This one's, when we talk about Letterman, where the 21 return is kind of a gray area. A lot of kids got to play in second halves because games were over by then. When it comes to Bechtel and Fairfield, it's almost like Teague with me, the culture. He's been around so long that the athletes have bought in. 10-0 JV team, so they've had success. Thursday night is not Friday night, and I'm not saying that. But it helps when you've been successful and you've seen what winning looks like. So they bring back the Davis kid who had a great playoff run, I thought.
Oh, absolutely.
So there's that. I'm seeing 4 O-linemen return. That's not bad. How well can the new quarterback come in and adapt to Friday night speed? Do they have a run? Will they be able to run the football to ease him into it, make quick throws, get to see where he's at? Maypearl's a tough-nosed football team defensively. They'll find out early. They're real disciplined. They'll find out early. Teague and Fairfield will be a battle. Conley's was down last year, but they have athletes. We'll see where we're at by the time we play them. Lexington's usually pretty good. Then you get your bye week and you jump in right with Westwood, who I think is the district favorite by far this year. And then, like you said, Crockett and Diebold are your toss-ups on how good are they going to be. But I think by then Fairfield will have figured out what they are, and they'll be just fine going into district. And I would not be surprised if they get second. That's where I would put them at. I don't know if they have enough to Westwood's going to be loaded offensively. Now I don't know what they'll have up front as far as can they protect Bryant, but he has the legs to get away from it, and the athletes to get the ball too. But by the Westwood game, they'll know who they are.
Agreed.
So I had, can they beat Westwood at Westwood? I don't know. Probably not this year. But after that, Crockett and Diebold are kind of the two you just got to worry about and beat them.
Good thing about that is they get Crockett and Diebold
at home.
I think that you look at the AT on that schedule, and that's huge.
Yeah.
You're playing the two teams that are going to struggle on the season. You're getting to them. Now, You've got to go to Western Louisiana to play Huntington. So, I mean, you're going a long ways away on a Friday night, but still, I think you would prefer to do that with this team
Right.
than you and have Crockett and Diboll at home. I think Westwood's a giveaway game. I just don't know that they have the horses to stay with Westwood.
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
Yeah, that to me, there's like Scott said, there's a lot of questions for Fairfield for me. But if I'm a Fairfield Eagle fan, I'm pull Orlando, which I'm not. I wouldn't be too worried just based off the history of Fairfield under Bechtel. I mean, their down years at Fairfield really aren't that down, so
Yeah.
I wouldn't be too concerned about how the season's going to go. I do think by the time district rolls around, Fairfield will be in good hands. I think they'll have some things figured out. I think the Davis kid is going to kind of lead that offense this year, kind of take over some of that production that they're going to be missing this year from Collins, Smith. I think he's going to be their go-to guy.
Yeah.
And it's a pretty good guy to lean on.
Not bad.
And, I think they'll make a run second, third in district, like Wes said. Westwood's going to be the favorite by far. I don't really see anybody in that district beating them. But like I said, if I'm a Fairfield Eagle fan, I'm not really concerned about this season. I think it'll be just fine. The biggest question is just going to be, yes, you've had some success on the JV level, undefeated, but how quick will that transition to Friday night?
Right.
And will be the biggest question for them.
Sure. I mean, I look at them. I think their biggest strengths will be leaning on the linemen they have coming back. Like I said, you get both Zachary brothers coming back. So yeah, that's a big deal up front. Then you get Kendall Tatum. He comes back. So those are guys they're definitely going to lean on to lead this team. So like you said, I think Fairfield will be fine because you should trust Coach Bechtel, what he can do with his program. Like I said, like the most intriguing game or games will be Crockett and Diboll. I mean, I think that'll decide their fate on where they see in the district and then going into playoffs. So Fairfield, they'll be on the road May Pearl, August 28th. So that'll now take us across the river to Groesbeck.
Do we not want to do a floor ceiling for Fairfield? We petered them at.
Yeah, we do floor and ceiling. So floor and ceiling for Fairfield. I think the ceiling's 6-4, 7-3, somewhere in there. The floor 4-6, 5-5.
I think that's fair.
I mean, right in there. Like, if they're any worse than 4-6, then something terrible had to happen. But
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I got their floor at 4-6, and for me, that would be what I was talking about just a second ago: is how quickly does the Friday night transition take for those young guys? If it takes a little bit, that's why I can see the 4-6. The ceiling, I have them at 7-3. I trust what Bechtel does at Fairfield. Fairfield's got great culture over there. They've got some guys that can still make some plays for them. And like I said, second or third in district, I can see them going 7-3 for sure.
I think those two swing games that determine whether or not they go 6-4 or 7-3 are going to be September 4th at Teague in the Battle of Freestone County. I think that's going to be big for both teams. Not going to count anywhere else. I mean, they played every other time. And I think that Lexington game, when nobody really pays a whole lot and does a whole lot of scouting on Lexington, they've been really good lately.
Yeah.
And so I think that's going to be I think the advantage to Fairfield is that it's a home game and it's right before the bye. Yeah. So you get them, but I think those are the two games that determine 6-4, 7-3.
Yeah, I'm 5-5, 7-3. To me, it's the same with Fairfield as it is Teague. Every Friday night, Fairfield's bringing everything they have and coming right at you. So regardless of the youth or the experience and all that, you better be ready to play every Friday night when they come. So yeah, 5-5, 7-3. I'm right in there with that.
Yep. So now we go over to Groesbeck. Nelson Cordes enters his second year with the Goats. They return 21 lettermen, losing 14 lettermen. They have 6 returning starters on offense, 7 returners On defense, they finished 2-8 last year, 0-5 in district. They did not make the playoffs. I think with them, they do lose a lot of key players that have contributed to them for the last 2 to 3 years. Like you look at Nick Sanchez, Gibson, Bennett, Roach, Aiden Moss, like all guys that played a ton of football for Groesbeck. So like the biggest question for them is, right, who is stepping into their roles? Like I know Nick Sanchez was kind of their go-to guy in the passing game. You do have Cannon Campbell that comes back, so he's probably going to be their number one guy. Debatable. There is another guy I'll mention later on. You do bring back Hall at running back. Quarterback, who knows what it is. You have Cordes, his son, playing quarterback. You also have Sanford. Both had time at quarterback back and forth last year. So they do have some guys returning. The guy that I keep my eye on, if I was a Groesbeck guy, would be Aiden Ray. Like I feel like he is the best athlete they have in the program. He is just going to be a sophomore, but he's the guy that you got to look to and get him the ball. Like you talked about earlier about getting guys the ball in space. He's got to be the guy for Groesbeck.
Well, looking at some of the ones, of course, my main focus on Groesbeck was during the basketball season. I saw them quite a bit. Cannon Campbell was huge. I think Jamaria Hall has a chance to be good. But if you look on down the list, there's a bloodline here. Perkins. You always have to be leery of when there's a Perkins on the roster because there were two young ladies that were pretty good on the basketball floor. There was a couple of guys that could run the gridiron pretty well too. So if he measures up to that bloodline, look out for a Perkins on there. I think having your child, your son, swing his legs under your table every night at supper time, be able to watch film in the comfort of your own home, I think is huge for Coach Cordes. Now, maybe a little more pressure for the kid, but I think that's huge for them. I think that's probably one of their biggest strengths coming into this season.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, to me, I have my own opinions of it. Like I said, I think Aiden Ray's their best athlete in the program right now. And if I was over there, I would probably want him behind center. Just being plain honest, because like he played quarterback last year on JV, played quarterback at junior high. Pretty sure he played quarterback all through Pee Wee, all that stuff. So
been a bunch of Rays come through Groesbeck too.
Yeah, he
been a few of them.
But again, that's just my opinion on that. West Leo, what y'all got on Groesbeck goats?
I think the biggest thing for them is, like you said, they lost a lot on a 2-8, 0-5 district team. And then so I think their biggest thing is how much were they bought in last year under the new guy, and how much are these returning guys bought in under him? I think that's going to be their biggest thing, and believing, hey, and what this guy's preaching to them. I'm with you on the Aiden Ray kid. I'm not going to speak on who should play quarterback. I just know he better be finding a way to get that kid the football.
Yeah.
That kid is dynamic. They have a couple guys that, that can make plays. Like you said, the Hall kid, I think he'll be a 3-year starter going into this year. I think the biggest thing over there is just them buying in to what he's preaching. Like you said, it's up in the air for what they can be. I think they're the biggest question mark team we're speaking about, because, like you said, they lost a lot off a 2-8, 0-5 district team. So all these guys coming back, have they bought in, and what are they building over there? I've heard good things that they are. I hope for them and those kids that they have a better season than they did last year. But how much better can they be coming into this year with everything they lost? You know what I mean? Like it's It would be different if they were young last year and went 2-8, kind of like Mexia and Wortham. We were young. Wortham was young. Their JV had a little bit of success. They have the Aiden Ray kid. They have another running back, the Campbell kid, who was pretty good. So that's my biggest question mark for them is with what's coming back, are they buying into what Cordis is preaching?
Yeah, to me, it's going to be about that buy because you look down the list, they do have some guys that can make plays.
Yeah.
For them. It's just, it's the quarterback decision, quarterback battle. How are they going to figure out a way to get these guys the ball? Is going to be real key in them having a successful season. Like you said, they lost a lot of production from their team last year, on the team that went to the league. They've had a JV team that, I got to watch them play Mexia last year. They were pretty scrappy. That was a pretty good game last year. I got to assume there's going to be a lot of kids from that team that are going to step up on the varsity this year. Mm-hmm. And it's going to be kind of like the Fairfield thing. If those kids can go out there and make that adjustment pretty quick to Friday night and kind of do what I saw them do last year in that game, I think Groesbeck can be an improved team this year. I think they can be all right. They can be a team that's competitive and a team that you can't take lightly.
Right.
Well, there's one thing that Coach Cordis didn't do. Everybody puts their schedule together. He didn't shy away from anybody.
No, he didn't.
If you're a 2-8 program and you're losing 21 lettermen, and then you say, you know what, I think I want to play McGregor, Troy, Teague, and West in 4 weeks. Just not real sure how many want to do that. You have to be able to be competitive in those games. You're also going to get a Centerville game in the opener, which Centerville has been, maybe a little down the last couple of years, but they've also had to play in the same district as Crawford. So you look at what they're able to bring to the table. My biggest question for this Groesbeck program, and guys, you can agree, disagree. I know y'all are Mexia guys, so y'all have a different feeling about Groesbeck than I might.
I'm being more open-minded this year.
Okay.
Last year we kind of got some slack.
So
even though my prediction was correct. So
then answer this, okay? I'm going to honestly answer this one.
Yeah.
I think Groesbeck's biggest question is how many times have they played in win or go home situations? There just hadn't been an abundant amount of playoff games for those kids, boys and girls, to say, okay, we have the confidence to go out and win this round and move on to the next one. It's not anything to do with the greatness or poorness of a program. It has everything to do with whether or not you qualified for the postseason. Just don't have that playoff resume that says these kids have got a lot of playoff experience. And I think, to me, that's one of their biggest questions.
Sure. I mean, and you look at it, like Groesbeck's currently on a 11-game district losing streak. They haven't won a district game since 2023 against Eustis. So,
oh my, I didn't go back that far. That's very good.
They have. I think that's the first thing. Like, not saying that's a big, tall order for them, because I do that they will win a district ball game this year. But that has to be the first thing, is improving their play during district. Then, obviously, playoff is the next goal, but you got to get through district first.
Sure.
So, like, that's my biggest question is, like we said, buy-in to what Coach Cordis is doing at Groesbeck. Like you said, I think they are. I think you'll see some improvements, and naturally you should, because his system, you're in year 2 of his system, what he wants to run offensively, what he wants to run defensively. So naturally they should improve from last year. I think, like, the most intriguing game, like, for them, it's definitely going to be Battle River. It's going to be King. And it's going to be Palmer. It's going to be those 3 games. And those are probably the most important games on their schedule. The thing that sucks for them is, being in a district like ours, they pulled the week 11 bye. So
I think that's going to be huge.
They're going to play all 10 games, hoping you stay healthy and you don't get that bye week until the very last week of the season.
I think their schedule. Speaking on their schedule, you're going to find out how good they are against Troy.
Yeah.
Centerville, You know, McGregor's been down recently. Troy's not. And then Troy's going to be big and physical. And then you're going to backdoor that with Teague.
And West.
Then you're going to go to West.
That's three very easy.
Then you're going to come to Mexia and play in the Battle of the River.
So you're going to have 3 weeks of
Then
hard
Grandview.
physical football.
Trenches football. Absolutely.
Yeah. So you're going Troy, Teague, West, Mexia, Grandview. Like that's
Then you got to put the maps go on to find out where Keene is.
yeah. It just
We all know where Keene is, right?
Me personally, I'd have been calling Elkhart and Eustis and all of them like, hey, what are y'all doing week 1, week 2, week 3? But he has a plan. That's who he scheduled. They're building over there. So good luck to them on that.
We have knocked Groesbeck in the past for their scheduling.
Yeah. So we can't contradict it because in the past they've scheduled an easy and then get to district and
they don't. Yeah.
Right. So
I think it's cool that they renewed the rivalry with Teague.
Yeah.
They played 80, 85, 90 years straight, had the third longest number of meetings between each other in a long time, and a really cool rivalry.
Right.
And then I don't know what happened with that, but maybe both coaches who were not plugged into Teague or Groesbeck just decided, no, it's not beneficial to play, and they didn't play for a while. It's just good to see that come back, to see them take that battle between red and white and orange and white. I think it's going to be kind of fun to see.
There should never be a year where Teague, Fairfield, Mexia, and Groesbeck do not play.
I completely agree.
Those 4 teams should play every year, no matter if they're in district or not. You find a way to make those games happen. It's good for them
now.
That should be, because especially if they're not in your district, like Teague and Fairfield not being in our district is great because now we ain't got to drive an hour and a half to go play a non-district game. We can play a rivalry non-district game local. It saves on travel. It's going to be a competitive football game. So there should never be any years where those 4 teams do not play each other.
In no instance should Teague have to go to Toller
to
play a non-district game.
Right. I'm with you.
Right there.
Yeah. So just like I said, my key for them is how bought in are they to what Cordis is trying to build over there. That's going to be the biggest one for me.
I agree. Floor and ceiling for the goats.
They're not going to like this.
Yeah. Y'all go first.
No disrespect. I'll go first to get the heat.
Y'all go first.
Ceiling, 3-7. 3-7. I just looking at the schedule. The 4th win would be us. Like, I'm not saying that. I 3-7, man. Floor 1-9, and that's with all due respect. And I hope they take it and use it as motivation. That's fine. Last year we caught a lot of heat. We'll wait and see. We seen, but with what he lost, what he brings back, a very well put together schedule. I will say that it's a difficult schedule, but it's not like how in the past where we're going and playing China Spring, Franklin, Conley, who's loaded with D1 talent. It's not that loaded.
Well,
but it's a very good schedule.
I think this Groesbeck team can improve twofold and be 0-4.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm not trying to be unrealistic at all. I think you get better by adversity, and I think that's what Coach Cordis has done here. Yeah. And I think that's a possibility. And guys, I'm gonna be real honest with you. Like I say, I hope I'm wrong because, like I say, I don't have the Groesbeck rivalry like you guys do. I think 3-7 is more than realistic of a ceiling.
Yeah.
Floor. And again, I'm just going to be real honest with you. I think floor for Groesbeck's 0-10. We don't know what Keene's going to bring.
Yeah.
They very well may. The 2 wins that they got were 2 non-district wins, and I don't remember who they were. Who did they beat?
Centerville and McGregor.
Mm-hmm. Okay, they beat Centerville in the opener, and then they started out 2-0. And I think that Centerville and McGregor got steadily better.
Yeah.
I think they started out real young. So yeah, I think they get those 2 wins, and maybe Keene is 3-7, puts them at 3-7. They could just as easily go winless, and I don't want that to happen for this Groesbeck team.
Right.
I want them to perform well, but I think Coach Harrison has this 100%. Boy, they drew the tough nugget by getting that last week bye. That to me is a major obstacle that they got to climb over. Play 10 straight weeks in a team that struggled like they did.
Yeah, looking at how the schedule plays out for them, I have their floor at 2-8. I think they can get a win in one of those first 2 weeks, and then maybe at Keene in district. And I don't know, just kind of listening to what y'all say, y'all kind of make me feel bad over here. I got their ceiling at 5-5. That's, like I said, there's a few playmakers over there that could have a little breakout season for them. To kind of, I could see them getting that 5-5. Like Wes said, that would include a win in the Battle of the River, but that's their peak is 5-5 is what I have.
5-5 would be an absolute humongous, phenomenal season for that GOAT team, and I don't see it as totally unrealistic.
Who would be your 5 wins if you had to, for their?
If
No, and I'm not judging on your
on a ceiling,
genuinely
right, ceiling. That's pretty much best case scenario. A lot went right
because I'll give you my 5 and then off of what you did. I did if I had to pick 5.
Right, I'd go Centerville, McGregor, maybe West. West lost a lot over there. We're just gonna have to see about West. Keene, maybe Palmer.
So that's their 5.
Right.
So I would go Centerville, McGregor. I don't think they beat West. I think West is just program wise. So Centerville, McGregor, Mexia, Keene, Palmer. I think Palmer struck lightning in a bottle with a really good athlete. When have we heard Palmer being good in football other than the last 3-4 years?
They had a few years before Cisneros got there. They had a few years
decent.
where
they were like 4-6, 5-5, or they were winning.
No, they were 7-3, 6-4.
Winning some games.
8-2, they were winning some games.
Under the same guy, or is it just?
I think
it was a different head coach, but also they were, I think, playing the Scurry Ross or the.
My point.
Right.
Scurry, Eustace, Kemp when they were in 3A.
And if they were doing that, then we would have heard a little more. Right. We just heard the last couple of years because the Cisneros kid, and we played him in basketball. So I don't really think. I think Palmer's getting too much credit, and I could be wrong. They could mop the floor with us. But if I had to pick those, Centerville, McGregor, us, Keene, Palmer would be their winnable, and us just because it is the Battle of the River.
So you heard it here first. West says Groesbeck will beat Mexia
That's
in the
not
Battle
what
of
I
the
said.
River.
But if I had to throw the coin in there, us or Teague. But I don't think they're big in the britches enough to beat Teague.
So what I have them floor ceiling, I think 4-6. Yeah, I think that's perfect world. They get 4-6 ceiling or floor. I think 2-8.
Yeah,
but I could see it where they might go 2-8 again, but they're still better than what they were last year.
Right.
I still think they get better no matter what.
Yeah.
Even if the record doesn't show.
Well,
There is such thing as a better 2-8 than last year's 2-8.
Again, though, I know I'm the lowest floor of the group, but still, I do think that this is a tough schedule they've got. I mean, this is not an easy schedule to lead off the first 4 like they are, and to have not won a district ball game last year. I think that's what constitutes a potential floor like that. I hope it's not. I hope that they do get those first 2 wins and they're able to sneak a win or 2 in district play. Yeah. I really do I'd love to see that team at 4-6. I think that would be a realistic goal for them, and it would be huge.
And I think everybody's question mark in our district as far as the teams is Keene, because they hadn't played 11-man football, but what, a year or 2?
I think 2 or 3. Yeah.
But do we know what they had? Were they young? Are they getting better?
Move in.
So we're basing the Keene game just off of they've only done it for 2 years. So, I mean, that's my one win for them in the floor. So
So Groesbeck, they will be on the road at Centerville to start the season on August 28th. That'll take us to good side of the river in Mexia, where Coach Horsley takes over the Blackcats. We have 22 returning lettermen coming back. We lost 10. We have 9 offensive starters coming back with 9 defensive starters returning. Had a record of 1-9 overall, 1-4 in district play, missing the postseason. Like when you look at what we bring back a lot. And the ones that do come back, or I guess the ones that we lost, like you had a Stephen Miles, Kel Collar, Montrell Carter, Rylan Greer. Like they played a lot of snaps. They were key contributors. But what we have coming back, I think we do improve quite a bit from last year. Like you look at guys like Cashin Williams, Draylon Hudson, Markavian Boyd, Aiden Cargill, like those guys right there, Roy Gowan, like they played a lot of snaps last year, a lot of football. I do see us taking a leap from last year to this year.
For Mexia, watching these kids, the 1-9 to me was disappointing. I thought that athlete wise they were better than 1-9. I thought that they were better than 1-4 in district play too. It just seemed like this Mexia team, and correct me, you guys are closer than I am to this. I mean, I know I walk the hallways, but y'all are closer to the athletic side than me. I think this team was just close enough to not succeed. I mean, they were in the ball game, through the first half. We saw through 3 quarters. They would be, and Coach Harrison could probably answer this way better than I can. It would seem like one monstrous event would happen bad, and it was quickly followed by monstrous bad thing 2 and 3. I mean, it's the ability to overcome the negative to make it into a positive, to turn that into a winning program last year. Is that fair?
Yeah, I mean, when we talk about it all the time, like it was razor thin margins between 1-9 and potentially
5-5,
4-6,
yeah,
5-5.
absolutely.
Like you definitely go look back at that Teague game. We go up 13-0. We go out to punt, and the ball flies over the punter's head. Teague recovers, and they go on to score in a play or two. And that changed the game there. And then I don't think we fully just recovered from that. You look at Cameron Yo, you get off to a fast start, but then every time we threw a punch, Cameron Yo throws a punch right back at it. Right. Eventually they take the lead, and we can never recover.
3 fumbles that game.
Yeah, 3 fumbles. Maypearl, again, fast start. Later on, I think it was second quarter, we house a kickoff return. Then they house kickoff return right after. So they answered immediately, and again, we didn't really recover after that. So it's those 1 to 2 plays in those games that went from 1-9 that potentially could have been at least 4-6. But
and 4-6 would have put them in the playoffs at that point.
Yeah,
I feel like.
I mean, when against Maypearl would have. So I think you look back before last season, I think you kind of really underestimate how young and inexperienced we were, and it showed in those key games that we had chances to win in. But now you look going into this season, now all those guys that were inexperienced, they now have that full year varsity experience that will help us a lot going into this year.
I think experience was the key for last year. Anytime you see 9-9 returning, something, and only lost 10 lettermen and returned 22, that kind of speaks for itself. Speaking of the Maypearl game, even the Whitney game, there were moments in that game we were there.
Yeah.
And then something happened, or or they just had the two best players on the field with the running back they had, and of course the quarterback that's there now. But we bring back some guys, and we've gotten a lot. Like on the paper it has their 40 times and all that. That was pre-spring summer. I would bet a lot of those 40 times are different right now. The biggest thing that I think I've noticed in this offseason is the change in a lot of our kids' bodies. You've seen it during track with the state run we had, and even some of the regional times that were right there just didn't make it to track. You've seen a change in our kids. The mindset seems to be changed a little bit, and sometimes you need that culture shock. And I think that when you bring in a guy that comes from the greatest coach in the history of Texas high school football staff, yeah, he don't have any experience as a head coach, but he's seen the blueprint. He has seen the blueprint, and I think the kids, you're talking about the buy-in with Cordis and the Wortham kids buying in. Yeah, we still got to put the pads on. But from what I've seen so far, there's enough of that buy-in that I'm kind of optimistic. You bring back Jadarius Davis, who in 5-6 games threw for 800 yards. He'll be a little more mature. He has that game experience. Last year, I thought at times it seemed a little fast for him. So now he's seen that.
I agree.
Markavian Boyd looks like a man-child right now. He's had a great offseason. Kadraylon Hudson, Castor Williams both have D2 offers right now. They're getting better. Roy was newcomer of the year. Aiden Cargill is a guy you can put it probably anywhere outside of O-line, D-line, and he will succeed. He just has a high motor. Weston Parker's a kid to look out for. Rylan Gowan, I think, is the best athlete on our team if it clicks for him. Kentrell Connor, Braylon Anderson, all big time played last year. Braylon Anderson returned safety. Keithan, 3-year starter. So the pieces are there. The work seems to be put in. Now we just got to see what it looks like on Friday nights.
Yeah, talking about last year, I agree with Scott. For me, it was one I'm real disappointed. Maybe it's just my head biasing me, but I feel like with what my head usually has, athlete-wise, that should never be the case.
Yeah.
Just in my opinion, I don't know who agrees with that or who doesn't, but that was a big disappointment. But we were real young and inexperienced last year, but forget about last year. Now that excuse is gone.
Mm-hmm.
The only inexperience we have is just head coach. We got a first-year head coach, but like you said, he comes from a pretty prestigious program. He knows what winning is like.
Yeah.
So hopefully he can bring a little bit of that to really set the standard for what my head football should be again. We're going to have some key players come back. Like, we're going to have 2 running backs that can go.
Yeah.
Markavian Boyd and Kentrell Connor. I think that's going to be a 2-headed monster that a lot of people are going to, if they don't know already, I think they're going to find out pretty quick.
Yeah.
You do bring back Davis. Like you said, 800 yards in just 4 or 5 games last season. He's a kid to me. He's going to be kind of the X factor for the season for me. He showed some really good flashes last year.
Yeah.
Of the type of quarterback that he could be for this team. Now, you do take a big loss from last year's team in Kel Collins. That's a guy that had a lot of offensive production for us. He had a lot of special teams production for us. I'm kind of interested to see who's going to step up and kind of fill that role that he had. I think, I don't think we're going to have as many explosive plays that Kel did, but I think we're going to have a grinded out top offense this year with those 2 running backs. And then I think we'll be able to have those explosive plays here and there with the quarterback. Defensively, Cash, Keydralen, I think they're going to lead the way on a defense that brings back non-starters, their experience. I do expect to see improvements on that side of the ball.
Yeah.
To me, that was kind of the thing that would really get us out of those games that were tough last year. The ones that we were right there to be had, and it just kind of fell apart. No, if you didn't want to say it, Wes, I'll say it. I think your son, Keaton, he's gonna be a pretty big role in this year's offense. I know you're trying to be humble over there, but
I hope, man. I hope he has a really good senior year. I do.
You know, I've seen what he can do 7-on-7 the last 2 years on varsity. Just I've seen the improvement. You talked about bodies. That's one kid right there. There's been a lot of improvement with him right there.
You know, we was talking about it a while back. You know, he played his sophomore year at 5'10", 189. Last year he played at 5'10-ish, 5'11", like it was like 181, 179 right in there. Since this offseason, he's 5'11", 173 now, but he don't have the gut anymore. He's a six-pack. You know, he's starting to fill out. He looks like he did his freshman year when he was at Hebron. He's more explosive. He's faster. He has that confidence and swagger about him back too. And then Landry could talk, like, I just see him in the 7-on-7 stuff. Landry coaches him every day. So he can speak more on that as far as how he's looked. But I really do, man. One of his goals has always been to play college football. And I really hope that pans out for him and he has that type of season this year. And for us to be successful, he's going to have to.
Yeah. I really do think he's going to step in and make some plays for us this year.
Him and Gabe Ramirez are going to be.
Right. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like, yes, Kell's a big loss.
Yeah.
But you understand, like, that was Kell's really just first year playing football in a long time. And he really still didn't understand playing receiver, ins and outs of it. I think now, from top to bottom, I think we improved the receiver. And that might just be the bias in me since I coach him. But I think with what Keithan can do now, we had Gabe in there, and I got to disagree with you. I mean, I think those guys, you can make the explosive play.
Yeah.
I think that'll be something, and like we always say, Mexia has athletes, but I really think like this year, we are the fastest we've been in a while.
Yeah.
From top to bottom, all over.
You know, guys, I'm as the only non-Mexia graduate on the panel. I'm going to have to. I'm not one of, as I was thinking about the biggest strength. To me, Mexia possesses a strength that nobody in this area has, and I don't know if they even realize it. And this is what I call black catitude. Okay, and if y'all market it, I get credit for it. Okay? All right, but anyway, because we know that the Mexia students are not wired like everybody else in our area. You have one at your house. You coach them every day. DeLeo is a product of that, okay? Those guys need to climb off of a bus or walk out of the field house and realize that they are the best athletes on the field at that time, whether it be on the field, whether it be on the court, whether it be on the track, whether it be on the diamond.
All right.
Whether it be in the volleyball cage. I mean, that's what they do. They need, and I've said this all along, even before I started working for MISD, but I'm going, those kids need to get off the bus and act like they own the place, even if they're the visitor. And I think sometimes we've lost that with that Mexia team. And if they're able to gather that, to turn to leadership and go, hey guys, lead us to a playoff spot, I think that there's enough weapons offensively and defensively for this Mexia team to make a turn.
Right.
You guys have mentioned all the players and all the pieces. It's just a matter of whether or not they can say, you know what, we can do this.
Yeah.
It's okay. That's right. We own the place. That's what we're here for. I'm not saying be cocky about it, but there's a difference in cocky and confident.
That is the one thing I think that we've lost in football a little bit. Basketball, not so much, because we've been pretty good in basketball the last 5 years. But you got to have that swagger about you.
doubt.
Like you got to have a little bounce in your step. For me, I don't worry about any of the athletes this year. How good are we going to be in the trenches? If we can be 30, 40% better in the trenches this year than we were last year, we're going to win some ball games. That's where our wins and losses are going to come from this year. I think JD's going to be okay. I think he's going to have a few games where he's still getting the feel of it. But if we can be 40-50% better in the trenches, we'll be fine. And you talk about the swagger and all that. Horsley brings that. You're talking about a guy that has coached over there, where when them dudes get off the bus every Friday night, they know who they are.
They know there's going to be a W when they get back on that bus.
You know,
that's exactly.
So
right.
it's. Are we buying in? Are we getting stronger faster? Are our linemen gonna be able to hold up in the trenches? That's where I'm at.
Which I'll say this about up front, like I don't think we won't ever be the biggest or the strongest.
Right.
Which and Mexia hasn't had that in a long time up front.
I can only count on a couple years.
Yeah. So, but what we have now up front, they're going to be long and athletic.
Yeah.
So we have some guys up front. They can move really well. So hopefully that translates to where we're able to pull some guys.
Be nasty.
Be nasty. Get our running backs and stuff into space behind these athletic linemen that we have.
Like you say, with the swagger of our athletes and all that. To me, your athletes got to have that swagger. Your O-lineman got to have that nastiness about them. You got to have that mindset that I'm about to whoop the person's ass in front of me every single play until he's tired and on the sideline. That's the kind of mindset that they have to have.
Yeah, I mean, if we come out with the mindset that we were playing Teague like last year, if we play Teague every week, that way we win.
Like Groesbeck every week, right?
That's the most physical I've seen those kids ever.
Yeah.
And
we were all surprised by it. Like I was worried that Teague was just going to run it end zone to end zone on us. And like you say, the one touchdown we gave them right at the end zone, they put together some drives and we held up. Groesbeck, we physically dominated. And outside of those two, Fairfield was just way above what we were last year. You get that every now and then. But the other games, like Cameron wasn't better than us. You go watch the highlights, you're like, we beat Cameron by 21. But, just Scott hit it on the head, though. Our guys got to get that swagger back. And I think Horsley's brought that in. Well,
and I mean, change can be good, can be bad.
Right.
I mean, you really don't know. And I mean, of course, and I've met Coach Horsley and talked with him and everything. And, and I don't want us to put so much confidence in there because he's still sitting at 0-0.
Right. I
mean, so I wouldn't want to put that kind of pressure on him to say, okay, you're going to contend for a playoff spot. You got a better 1-9 first. You got to get better than you were before.
Right.
I think scheduling wise, I love. And we're talking about games. And I know what game y'all are going to circle, so I'm going to just bypass it completely. But I'm going to talk about leading up to that game. You've got Teague at Fairfield, at Whitney in the district opener, and then Groesbeck. Do you have the discipline to say, we're going to play Teague and not worry about that team across the river?
Yeah.
Because now they're creeping up on the schedule. They're creeping up on the scouting report. So are you going to – and I think Coach Horsley has that discipline for himself. Now, whether or not he can portray that to his team, I think is going to be huge. Can he say, okay, let's go play Fairfield? Don't look down that schedule.
Right.
Fairfield's the end of the season right now. And then, but I think as long as they're able to do that, can they find the leadership? Can they find it? I think can turn this Black Cat program around. As you mentioned, we talked about Groesbeck's inexperience in the playoffs. Mexia, even though it hasn't been in football, has had postseason experience.
Right.
And I think that's key for them. And I consider postseason as those two 800 relays that went to Austin.
Right.
So, I mean, there are next round opportunities for this Black Cat program, and they've proven that. Now it's time to get on the gridiron and do it.
And just talking with him, he's a week by week. Like, he's not even worried about Troy. It's
right.
Crockett. Then for me, I don't know if our kids view the Groesbeck hype that it has in the past until it's that week.
You might be right.
I don't think it's gotten back to that full-blown Mexia-Groesbeck rivalry.
I'm also not sure that the Mexia kids understand where Coach Horsley's been. I mean, not very many of them know what happened. I mean, they'll watch YouTube and Huddle
Yeah.
and all that stuff, but I don't know that they've seen what Carthage has done the last decade.
Mine knows about it.
Well, I mean, but I mean,
Mine
you see-
knows about it.
But you see where
I'll
I'm
make
coming
sure
from.
he knows. So,
But you see where I'm coming
I
from.
got you.
Do they have that knowledge
Yeah.
of what pedigree he's coming out of and what he's trying to show them to do?
I think there was a couple kids that were maybe on the fence about, and he put in a couple calls like, "Hey, this is what I can get done for you if you buy into what I can do for you."
Wow, that's awesome.
And okay, now we're good. And now those kids have had a really good offseason.
That's awesome. That's
So,
great.
but when you've built the connections and networks that he has, it's easy to make a call to someone and be like, "Hey, you do these things right, this could happen."
Well, I mean, as far as I think the key game for Mexia, and again, gentlemen, agree to disagree. I'm not even looking at the Battle of the River game. To me, that's a non-existent factor. If you're talking about do we or don't we have a Week 12 game in by district, is that November 6th game?
Yeah.
Is Palmer. You got to get by them. I think that they're the determining factor. Is West important? Absolutely. But I mean, I don't think that you got to get by one of those two
Yeah.
in order to put yourself in the hunt. I don't know that they're quite skilled enough to get Whitney or Grandview yet. But we've seen Mexia beat Grandview in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
So that's not an impossibility. However, is this team ready to say, okay, that November 16th, what kind of marbles are we playing with and playing for? Does that put us into a game on Friday the 13th, that next Friday?
Yeah.
Totally agree. So I'll sit out this one. Floor and ceiling for the Black Cats this year.
I think the biggest game for me to start our season is Crockett. I've said it since we scheduled them. We're going to find out where our biggest weakness and strengths are. The weaknesses is the line. That's where we got to get better at. We're going to find out against Crockett what we have. Floor, I'm unbiased. Love my boys to death. These are my boys that I've had since they were 3 and 4. Floor 3 and 7. Playoffs though, 3 and 7.
Okay.
Ceiling 6 and 4.
Hey, first of all, I'm going to preface this by thinking Coach Horsley and Coach Bechtel did a phenomenal job. That Week 4 game on the 18th of September is the perfect place for that game. Because you're going to find out real quick, is Fairfield down or is Mexia up?
Yeah.
Because you're going to find out real quick. Somebody's going to be 2-1, 1-2, or 0-3. Somebody's going to be sitting in that spot. I think that is a perfect place for that game. I think that their ceiling, to me, the sky's the limit. I think they split Fairfield Teague. I do think that Mexia has a chance to win that Fairfield game. I don't know that they're quite stout enough to beat Troy and Teague back-to-back weeks.
Yeah.
Can they outpace Crockett? Yes, because Crockett is going to come in okay. But I think both teams are going to have enough questions to answer. They're going to be okay. So I say you split the first 4. Is that fair enough? Okay, split the first 4, and then you get by Groesbeck, Keene, and Palmer. That puts you at 3-3 in district. That's at 6 and 4. I think that's realistic for this Mexia team. Yeah. I really do. And ceiling, Wes, I think you nailed it. I think that 3 and 7 is the floor without a playoff spot. I do think that they would lose. They would drop that Keene, Palmer, one of those games to just miss. That would be my floor for this Mexia team. I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah.
I think that these guys are going to be improved enough. To me, the biggest question at that point is, do they split the first 4?
Right.
I think it's pretty. I think it would be a little iffy if they finish 1 and 3.
Yeah.
I just because I think psychologically, 2 and 2 is way better than 1 and 3. Now I'm in the media, so I can say that.
Right.
But Coach Horsley's not going to take it that way.
Right.
He's going to want to make sure that they go 1 week at a time. But I think a split is very, very positive for this Black Cat team.
Yeah, I've got the floor for my head at 2 and 8. And that's just kind of, new head coach, new OC, new DC, just kind of what are the adjustments like? What's the learning curve like? How quick do we get everything established? That's, mixed in with injury, that's kind of where I would see the floor. Ceiling, I've got us at 7-3, kind of finishing in that third spot at district. I talked about we're going to have some playmakers. I think we kind of misworded it earlier about the explosiveness on plays. I don't think we'll lack explosiveness. I just don't think we'll have to rely and hope and pray on it as much as, please, this is really the only way we can score. I don't think that's going to be the case. I think we'll be able to grind it out if we need to, and then I think we'll have the explosive plays. So I could see my head going 7-3 and, like I said, finishing third and getting a playoff spot this year.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think week 1 for me tells me everything. Like, yeah, we can get better throughout the year, but Crockett will be where a lot of my questions will be answered as far as the trenches.
Oh, I think absolutely.
Like, I think that's just going to be for what they do. Where are we at in the trenches?
So Black Cats, they do start season at Crockett.
Everybody's away.
Everybody's
Every
away.
team
In the area is on the road to start the season.
Quiet in the Tri-County
No
area.
Tri-County schools are going to
August
open with the lights on.
So a lot of people gonna be on the road, so make sure you are staying safe. This last segment, I do want to go rapid fire so we can kind of get out of here. Our first Tri-County power ranking. So this is preseason, so a lot of it is going to be based off more from last year going to this year. Like for me, if I had to take all 6 teams, rank them 1 through 6, I think 1 right now. Again, a lot of it's based off last year. Fairfield, go Teague, Mexia, Buffalo, Groesbeck, then Wortham. Be my 6 in the power poll.
See, I think I would go, yes, I'll base a little bit off last year, but I'm going to base a little bit off what I think is going to be the case this year. So I'd flip that 1 and 2. So I'd have Teague at 1, Fairfield 2, Mexia 3, Buffalo 4, Groesbeck 5, Wortham 6.
Mine is the same as DeLeo's right now. Teague, Fairfield, Mexia, Buffalo, Groesbeck, Wortham.
I'm going to do it, but I'm going to put Wortham ahead of Groesbeck. And I just wanted to factor something in real quick. I know that this is not part of the deal, but I think other ones that you need to put in for a power ranking, you got to factor in Leon. Leon is one of those. Certainly Buffalo. I think Oakwood and Coolidge are certainly going to be. Those are 6-man schools. We don't talk about them very much,
Right.
But those are teams that stout. Oakwood went to the state finals.
So Scott's saying expand our
No. I mean,
our reach.
And that's the goal of it.
Just-
We do want
You just
to.
have to learn the 6-pack offense. You can do that. But I do think that you putting those schools in there. I'm looking for good things out of this area. I don't know how many strong teams we're going to have.
Yeah.
But I think we'll have playoff teams. I don't know how deep they go.
Which brings us to the next question. Bowl prediction for 2026. Mine, which to me really isn't that bold when you start looking at it. I think out of the 6 teams we covered, 5 of them will make playoffs.
It's nice.
That would,
Groesbeck being the only one. Just
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't
Because-
say it, but
no, not disrespecting to them. Just how we broke everything down today.
I think Groesbeck would be the lone one out. But like when you do look at it, I think the other 5, I mean, really good chances of all of them getting in. It would sure make business better for Scott. I think Fairfield was the only one of the 6 last year to make it. So
Well, I'm gonna tell you this, buddy. If you had Groesbeck in, it would have been Mexia out. Then that's the only way. Yeah, I'm with you. My bold prediction might be the same as last year. Fairfield will win their district again.
well, if your bold prediction is right, then mine's going to be wrong. Because I think 9-3A Division I champion will be Crockett. So that's bold.
That is pretty bold.
You wanted bold. I'm giving
That's
you
a-
bold.
That's all right.
I do think that that's going to be one of the teams to watch in this area. If they get things moved in the right direction, that Crockett team's going to be a force to be reckoned with, and not very many of us know it as you go that far down. But I think that they're going to factor in because I think the district sets up well for them. Played well twice against Fairfield and Westwood. They're district champions.
We'll find out week 1.
Yeah,
We'll let you know.
Doesn't make me feel very good.
Yeah, Scott. Thanks, bud.
Sorry.
Man, honestly, I'm gonna sit the bold prediction out. Last year I made a prediction and it kind of jinxed the person I said it about. So I don't even wanna, I don't even want to go there this year.
So was I the bold prediction champ last year?
I think so. I rewatched him, so I think right when you said it, Scott was like, "Oh, that is bold."
Yeah.
That's bold.
But when you look at it now,
Yeah.
really,
And I tell you, it sucks for them that they lost to the state champ because they were clearly the second best team in 3A D1.
yeah.
They had a couple plays here and there. They beat Yoakum. Yoakum just caught lightning in a bottle. Like them dudes were good.
Well, yeah, and now 2 of them are
Playing somewhere else.
Yeah, Malakoff. So look at Malakoff's Malakoff, same. So
that'll just about do it. Closing thoughts for any of you before we.
Hey guys, just I know y'all are regulars on this. Thank y'all for inviting me. Just make sure that you will have that schedule released here pretty soon for what we're going to do. We're going to do a bunch of Mexia, Teague, Fairfield ball games, especially the realism of them playing each other. That's always cool when they do that. The snapshots are in the process of being written. I appreciate you guys listening to that. Coaches and fans, give me a call or send a really nice text going, "Hey, those are really cool."
Yeah.
And I'm really glad people have to take the time to listen to them. Sometimes I don't even want to take the time to write them.
right.
But I'm glad that those are still running strong and still running well. So I do appreciate that. But this has been a blast. Thanks for inviting me.
Oh yeah.
Sure, I mean, I think like you cover a lot of sports in this area, so having you on, it definitely helps out, especially when it comes to your Wortham Bulldogs and things like that.
I'd like to make a bold prediction about them, but I'll wait.
And then again, thanks to Jackie Dillon for letting us come out and have the show here. Yeah, I called him last week. I said, "Man, I think this is the perfect place to do a show
Absolutely.
like this, preview all of our local teams." Guys, make sure y'all come out here, man. They got great food.
Right. The Philly chef's kiss, bro. Hey.
Make sure and play some golf out here. Like they do so much that y'all probably don't see for our local schools, athletic programs. Like we had our booster club golf tournament out here.
Big
A
success.
couple months ago. I think Teague's
It's coming up.
tournament's coming up.
Yeah.
So
August 1st.
They do so much for the kids around in our area.
Just don't pay attention to the windows in the front that are broken because that's me off the tee box.
Yeah, I was gonna say I've done it a few balls.
Yeah. I cut my first swing out here. My first time playing golf was here, so it's really
We're
nice.
still looking for that ball.
That one I didn't lose it for about 6 holes.
Oh, okay, all right.
And then it's somewhere over here now. So, but no, man, we appreciate Jackie.
Absolutely.
Letting us come out and doing it here. Hopefully, a couple more things in the works to be back. Enjoyed our time here, man. It's been good. My closing thought is just I want my Black Cats to have a good year, man. Those kids deserve it. They put in a lot of work. Them dudes have been playing for a long time, and like you said, your bold prediction, 5 of the 6 make it. It'd be great for this area, great for our show, enough to talk about. It's one of the things we struggled with last year was how do you talk about a 66-0 loss? You know what I mean? So, success for all the local teams and all that, man, and everybody have a healthy season.
Very true.
So, again, football is right around the corner. We did the show a little bit earlier than what we did last year, which I think I kind of like it this way just because we haven't seen any team yet.
Yeah.
Not in the scrimmage, not in the practice. So it's still kind of a blind eye going into it, but I think that makes it all the more fun. You still have those unknowns, those questions you get to talk about. So I definitely like doing it a little bit earlier. Again, make sure you guys like this video on YouTube. following us on YouTube, follow us on Facebook, TikTok. Guys, y'all have been tremendous at commenting, liking, sharing everything we've been putting out. So we thank y'all for doing that. There's nothing else, guys. I think that's just about
Great season coming up.
Yeah, buddy.
2026 football season is coming up here in a few weeks. As always, I'm Landry DeLeo,
Wes Davis,
and this is
I'm Scott.
the legend.
the legend.
Man, y'all are too kind.
This has been the Water Tower Podcast.
Out of here. Water tower, it sure is good to see.